What's going on, everybody? This is your boy with the official first episode of Postal Blue Podcast of the Postal Blue Podcast. I'm your boy LA, aka Ice. Today we are missing Coffee. Coffee is definitely MIA. Talked to him earlier. Now he's definitely MIA. But time is going. It's almost 7:30 p.m. Sunday night, and we do got to get this for you guys Monday morning. Who's going to be on your route or clerking? Handling if you're a material handler, trucking if you're driving, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So, and we missing Fee. Fee had a death in the family. Shout out Fee. Condolences go out to Fee family. You know what I'm saying? She at her cousin's house right now. I just spoke with her. So like I'm soloing it again today. So today, I'm just gonna lay the groundwork. It's the official first episode. I'm gonna lay the groundwork for what the postal service seems to be in its current form today. So once I say this, set the groundwork on this episode, everything should make sense going forward. That's on top of this, right? Man, listen, the post office is at war, man. You know what I'm saying? We in a severe state of decay. And while we're in a state of decay, almost like a recession business wise, we are also at war. My perspective as a company, right? And a lot of the things you experience is on the ground floor, which is where your craft employees are, right? Your clerks, your material handlers, your custodians, your truck drivers, your carriers, maintenance, which is like VMF, your people who do maintenance on your facilities or maintenance on the vehicles. That's maintenance. I'm not sure what else craft I might be missing. There's like 17 different clerks, so I'm just putting them all together as clerks. I think actual custodians at one point was in a clerk category, and then it was like in a maintenance category. So I'm not sure what custodians fall on. That's why I said them separate. But yeah, we in a recession business wise. Let me start there, right? The post office doesn't know its identity right now, right? This is reality. The only thing that's left is getting whatever mail out, whether it's letter mail, packages, whatever that is. It doesn't seem like we sell products anymore outside of postage. We don't really go to the extent of selling certifieds. We don't go to the extent of selling express. We don't even bother right now in the new form of making sure that express even get to where they're supposed to get to in a timely manner. We just ship it and then we just reimburse an express consistently right now in the current state of the post office, which is not making money, but it's kind of losing money because we didn't make money. You know what I'm saying? Like we sold this item for $70 and then we end up having to return the $70. But we paid the money in expenses to get that item from A to B. So actually we lost because we paid money to get it from A to B, but then we didn't recoup anything because we had to reimburse them people that money. So we're losing money hand over fist, but that's as an entirety of the post office, and that's not due to just 1, 2, 3 particular crafts. That also has a lot to do with, from our perspective, and in this case, from my perspective, from the higher ups, like who's making these calls, who's selling these items, who's creating the new items to sell, right? And we don't know who that is on the ground floor. We don't know who that is, and we don't see it, so we assume it's not getting done. So at this point, I don't believe that it's getting done, right? So it looks like to make up money that they're trying to squeeze, quote unquote, squeeze the craft employees. And that's not going to work. And that's where the war comes in at, right? So the recession of the business part of the post office is what's initiating this war between management and craft employees, right? That's the foundation. The post office is bleeding money. And they don't know how to make money. They don't know how to make money, which is the biggest deal. The post office no longer knows how to make money. It's from a ground floor perspective, because it's not being made. We don't see it being made. I don't see it coming in on any aspect or any position that I've been in. I don't see it coming in. And the only thing I hear about is how we keep on losing money. So clearly we're not making anything outside of our contracts with UPS, FedEx, Amazon. I don't know if we got a contract with Walmart or not. At one point in time, I remember one year we were seeing a lot of big influx of Walmart packages. I don't know if that was a one-time thing. I don't know if that was just doing that period. I don't know if Walmart just got their own people now for delivery or whatever that is. But for a fact, I know of FedEx, UPS. FedEx not so much I don't see anymore, so I'm not sure about that one. But at least I'm gonna say them for now. FedEx, UPS, and Amazon. I think the biggest influx of money is the contract with Amazon, right? But we're losing money as a company, and we don't know how to make money or to recoup money clearly also as a company. So this is what initiated the war, right? So I should have to do more for less because you higher up don't know how to make money. That's not gonna work. And this is part of the core problem on the war between management and craft employees. In its current form, this job is not meant, or career, I'm just gonna say job, but job / careers, if both, to each his own. This job is not meant for people that's not of a certain mentality, right? If you have a very immature mind state, is my personal opinion, immature mind state, immature way of doing things. If you like to throw tantrums, if you like to complain without doing the work, because to me, as long as you do the work, you got the right to complain. But if you don't do the work, you don't really got the right to complain about nothing, because you ain't did nothing to complain about. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for y'all. If you come in headstrong and you get your information, there's a lot of people who in the post office currently that has the information. This is the new post office, right? So there's not a ton of them. I will say that because we did lose a lot during COVID, whether retiring, quitting, or what have you during COVID. That's why I call it the new post office, because we don't have we lost a big senior base of knowledge when it comes to those senior carriers, clerks, truck drivers, material handlers, people that was at 20, 25 plus years and higher. They left. Not every single one of them, mind you, but we lost from what I get, thousands and thousands and thousands nationwide. That hurt the post office during that period of time. What also hurt the post office during that period of time, it might seem like I'm jumping a little bit, but I'm getting into that recession part of the post office, the in between leading into the war, right? So after this recession part, when money's been constantly going down over whatever amount of years, right? Then COVID hit, we lost a ton of personnel, and then we overworked the people that we did have, which would be the rest of those senior people and that middle group of people that's like maybe 10, 15 years, and the new people that's probably like around the 5-year mark, so like 5 to 15-year mark. We overworked them, and then the people 5 years and less, we kind of threw them to the wolves, along with the new people, or the influx of new people that's coming in, kind of threw them to the wolves. We shorted their trainings, put them in whatever positions that they in, and just hope they swim. Right. And we've seen that across all crafts. People leaving consistently at that time. So now you get past COVID, where that middle group is kind of a little more on the senior side, and those new people that came in with that bad experience, they're kind of like in that middle group now. And now you just got the new people coming in right now. So what's consistent across the post office is majority or what it seems like, majority of your more senior people, because they're super comfortable in their positions, they don't give information because it don't seem like it, whatever management is doing doesn't affect them, right? They got whatever they got, whether it's medical, whether it's restrictions, whether it's FMLA, whether it's whatever the case is, they don't feel like they get affected. So whatever you might be going through in the middle group or the lower group, which as far as those group as far as time wise, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to get information, right? Because the other group, they don't really feel like they being bothered. So you know what I'm saying, and you too new for them to talk to or whatever the case is. So it ain't about sharing no type of information. So the bottom group is trying to get information from the middle group. And the middle group don't have all the information because they used to be the bottom group, and who was they getting the information from when a lot of the people was gone already, right? So you got to get the information. Now that's not to say that there's nobody with the information. There's a lot of people with the information. So you got to get close to those people with the information to ask questions. Ask a lot of questions when you come into the post office. Again, don't come in with the immature mindset. We don't need you. We do need people that come to work. And that's pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Because we also need people to come to work. We get a lot of people that don't come to work. People that call in, you just came in 30 days, in your first 30 days, your first month, you done called in 12 times. You're getting 2 days off, that's 8 days. Then you call in another 12, that's 20 days right there. So you only work 10 days in your first month. Nah, we don't need you, sir and or ma'am. Don't need you. That's just a hindrance. The post office is not built in a system to have a lot of backups, right? Also, if I didn't say this podcast is also for customers and residents, right? We're gonna get into things and topics or whatever the case is, so you can have a better understanding on the industry, whether it's the truck drivers, the material handlers, the clerks, how they operate, your back clerks, your window clerks, because we do have a lot of customers that have issues with their window clerks at their LPOs, which is your local post office, and more understanding of the carriers that you do have and or see or that you interact with on a daily basis. But this particular show, you set the groundwork for the employees, right? But there's a lot of information that you can take from that as a customer or a resident. Also, everyone that work at the post office are also customers and residents, because we all have to live somewhere and we all still do get mail. So the information, get the information, heed the information. Now, current state is we at war. All the crafts. This is what the crafts is talking about. We at war. It is what it is on the craft side. And management, we at war. And that is what it is on the management side. Now, at this point, everybody gotta draw their line for whatever side that you on, or you gotta have a distinguishing trait that says that, hey, I'm with this side, but I'm not with this side. If that makes sense, right? I'm over here doing my thing, but I ain't with the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do my thing. But with that understanding is, you got to understand, if you in that position, that you still might be collateral damage. I'll explain a little bit later. You still might be collateral damage, and don't get mad when you collateral damage. You know what I'm saying? We all got to pick our side, right? People in crafts feel like they're being I'm not gonna say forced, but attempted force to do things that they don't want to do, per se, right? Or let's say being harassed in various ways or stages of their work day, right? And that's not gonna be tolerated. There's laws that state that. Management need to know that. There's a fine line between you doing your job as a supervisor or manager and you harassing someone. You as a supervisor or manager need to know what that line is, so you know when you close to it or when you crossed it. Just because I'm in the workplace and you feel like however you feel, don't mean that you can harass me. You can speak your piece. That don't give you no right to harass me. You can lose your job, sir and or ma'am. Make that clear, right? This is what they have the EEO portion of federal employment for. That's what EEOs is for. Supervisors, you can be fired by a craft employee. on losing the EEO. You could be fired, sir and or ma'am. I'm telling you, you can be fired, you can be moved, you can be retrained. If that person has a serious enough case and they cross their I's and dot their T's when they win in that office, whenever they win, whatever they ask for, this is from personal conversations with the EEO department. Whatever they ask for, as long as it's not something that should already be happening, right? Let's say, as an example, I should, if I win my EEO, let's say you was harassing me, I shouldn't ask for, I need him to stop harassing me, or I need him or her to stop harassing me. They're gonna say, well, they shouldn't be doing that anyway. Pick something else. You gotta pick something else. That's what I mean by you can't ask for something that should be happening in the first place, right? This is what leaves the door open to settlements, you being retrained, you being moved to a different location, or you being removed from the post office, right? Them the big four. Craft side, this is from my personal experience, you need to be going for those big four. Really big three, because I really wouldn't accept being retrained, me personally. It's happened before. Once I've accepted retraining, but at this point, some people just needs to go. That's gonna be the change in the post office. Some people just need to go. So definitely being moved or removed should be the top two. You could take the settlement or ask for a settlement, but that allows that person that we need out the post office to stay in the post office. So it's a catch-22, you know what I'm saying? We like greed, we people, we human, we got bills, we got whatever the case is, and then when you thinking money, I can't tell the next man, you know what I'm saying, not to take it, or whatever the case is. But if you plan on staying, that's not something that we should be accepting at this point in time if we plan on staying and growing the post office, right? As much as the management will try to weed out the bad craft employees, craft needs to start weeding out the bad management employees, which are still employees, right? About picking a side, let me break that down right quick. Supervisors, management. When it comes to management, supervisors, you are the shield for management, right? You the first step. You don't want to deal directly with employees, not the manager per se. Managers can, but that's not their position. Their position is facility, vehicles, right? Supervisors, through all aspects of most businesses, are the ones that deal with the employees. It typically don't go over to the manager unless it's something that the supervisor cannot handle. So the floor supervisors, that is your responsibility. It's not your manager's responsibility. Technically, that's your responsibility. Now, I say this for a reason. There are a lot of cases where your manager, and unbeknownst to you, will use you, right, in cases like a shield to have you do something. That's not to say that you're doing something that you shouldn't be, or whatever the case is. It's just letting you know, right? And give you instructions to do it. I need you to address this carrier. I need you to address that clerk. I need you to go do this. I need you to do these days in court. I need you to pull this person. I need you to put, okay, cool. And you do that, right? This is me. This is my personal take on it. If you're willing to put paperwork on an employee, then you kind of threatening a job. Now, that's not a threat in a bad way on like, I feel like I need to sue you, right? But that's threatening my employment, which is threatening my income, which is threatening my household expenses that I gotta pay, or that I gotta take care of, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. And y'all shouldn't shoot those threats lightly, right? Because when I want to, if I'm a craft and when I want to get back at management, if I feel like I want to get back at them, because there's a lot of things I've probably been overlooking or let slide, and now y'all want to put paperwork on me, right? The first line of defense, that supervisor, I hit you first to get to the manager, right? You the shield. I get through you, I can get to the manager easy. I can actually skip you like it's checkers and go straight to the manager. But because you want to put paperwork on me, right? Your name is on that paperwork. I might hit you first. Pause if necessary. I might hit you first and then go to the manager. So then don't get mad when I put paperwork on you. I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen. And then the supervisor asks, but man, why you got to do this to me? Or why y'all trying to put this? Because ain't your name on my paperwork, on my write-ups? Okay. Don't you do this that you're not supposed to do? Don't you leave early? Don't you come in late? Okay. They pulled your clock ring, sir. It looks like you still clocked in at 10 and you didn't get here till 11. So it looks like you still in time, right? You came in at 12 and it looked like you left the building at 5. It say your end tour was at 9 or at 8, whatever your auto ring punch is. Is that still in money? Is that still in time? Because that's what y'all would try to hit a craft employee with. So y'all gotta watch what y'all doing, because once craft employees who know all the tea in the post office, everything that you're doing, mind you, let's clarify, a station is filled with craft employees way more than management, right? Typically, let's say a station has 20 routes. So that's probably 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's about 24 employees, right? One for each route. Let's say it's a full station, a carrier for each route, and then you need 4 utilities to rotate through those routes on their off days. That's 24 employees. And then you probably have 2 to 3, let's say 3 clerks, right? So that's 27. Possibly a custodian. So now that's 28. Let's say you might have 2 PTF that you might send to other places, PTF/CCAs. So now we at 30. We had 30 employees already. And most likely that station has 2 supervisors and a manager. So it's 3 management and 30 employees. Paperwork on you, management, can stack up fast when you've aggravated 30 employees. Mind you, a strong 10 out of that 30 is all it takes. It takes less than that, because I've had people retrain just on my own. It didn't take 9 of us, right? As a carrier, it didn't take 9 of me. It didn't take 5 of me. It took 1 me to get 2 supervisors and a manager retrained. That's all I asked for, just to be retrained. And I sat back and I let things happen and watched for 3 to 4 weeks. And I took notes on days I was harassed. I watched discrimination happen. I'm not gonna say in ways right now. We'll say that for a future episode. I watched things happen. I took notes on days, on times, okay, on treatments of certain individuals versus myself. Then a lot on myself. I took notes for 3 to 4 weeks. Then I called the EEO consultant, talked to them. Okay, cool. Got all my ducks in a row, put in my EEO, man, listen, it was bad in the office. It was bad in the office. Also, when you do go in EEO from the craft side, you are allowed a representative. You could choose for that to be a union steward. From what I was told, you could choose it to be anybody, right? But you could choose a union steward. You can choose a lawyer if you want to. Anything of that nature. That's all up to you. I don't think it has to be one of those 2. You probably could choose a friend that kind of know a little bit about your situation. They didn't say anything against that. Again, I was told it could be anybody that you want to quote unquote represent you, right? I would think the biggest 2 would be your steward, or somebody in the union, or lawyer, depending on what you're looking for. Make sure you know what you're looking for before you go in there, right? Make sure you know what you're looking for as far as the outcome goes before you go in there, right? And if you got a strong enough case, which again, take your time, build your case. So it shouldn't be no if you got a strong enough case when you go in there. I got you locked. You know what I'm saying? When the feds come for you, what they say, they already got you. By the time the feds get to you, they done already got everything they need. They ain't just started the case. They probably been watching you for months, years, or whatever the case is at this point in time, right? You do the same thing when you do your EEOs, right? And I say that to say this. There's bad supervisors out there. There is supervisors that harass, that's borderline harassing, or that is harassing employees. I'd never expect managers to write up their supervisors or to get rid of their supervisors. This is what makes it war, right? Because someone in management can tell a steward, man, you know that this person should be wrote up because they do this, that, and the other. And that steward could tell the manager, let's say it's a manager, well, you know your supervisor should be wrote up for this, that, and the other, but you haven't done it, right? So management, they get looked at like you're together, right? A manager, you should be managing everyone in the office. Let me say that again. Managers should be managing everyone in the office, meaning carriers, clerks, custodians, and supervisors. They all should be performing at a certain level, or they all should get paperwork put on them. All of them. That's my belief. All of them. Not just manager want to go after the craft employees, but then don't say nothing to their supervisors. So then that's what makes it look like management is together. Because your supervisor bogus, but you don't never say nothing or do nothing to your supervisor. Okay. So now when I get this paperwork, we gonna see what it is. Same thing, same scenario when it comes to supervisors and managers. A lot of supervisors know that their managers might be bogus or doing bogus things or shady things, but they don't say nothing. They don't do nothing. Now, from the craft side, you wouldn't possibly know that, right? But most supervisors don't go to their NAFS representative to put paperwork on their managers. We know this for a fact. I've seen supervisors get talked to crazy by their manager or managers and then go do nothing. Violating all types of dignity and respect, discrimination, harassment, and they don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Like they got Stockholm syndrome. Okay, cool. So y'all together. Y'all watch each other back, even though y'all all bogus. So it's an all bogus system. The manager and the supervisor, bogus system. Okay, cool. So then when I shoot this shot, supervisor prepared to get hit. Because you know the manager be bogus. Or manager, you know the supervisor be bogus. But y'all both sit back and y'all do what y'all do. Okay, cool. So y'all together. So this is where the separation comes in. Craft gonna be with crafts. And management gonna be with management. Management is supervisors and higher, right? That's EAS, red badges, is what I'm talking about. Even when you as a 204B, if you sit on that desk, the day you sit on that desk, I'm hoping that you come correct, because if you let that supervisor send you off, or EAS send you off, if you let the manager send you off, I will put paperwork on you as a 204B. I will make it so you would never want to be on the desk again. Right? That's what I'm willing to do. Right? So y'all got to pick your sides again. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is at this point in time. Wish it wasn't like that, but there's a lot of favoritism being done, a lot of biases being done. There's harassment, hostile work environments, all type of stuff that's going down. And it's gonna be the year going into 2025 that's gonna have to change. It's gonna have to change if we expect the post office to progress. And a lot of this stuff doesn't get changed within the ranks of the post office. Sad to say, right? But it's not going to be tolerated. You got to go outside the post office. This is where the EEOs start to come into place at. You got to start bringing in outside forces to see what's going on inside, because there's a lot of things inside that upper management is going to try to keep inside. They pray and hope that it don't get outside. This is where the idea for this podcast come into place. I've been thinking about this for about a year now, probably longer than that, and just never did it. I've seen a couple other podcasts. I think the post office got its own official podcast called Melanin, I believe. I think this their actual official podcast. I'm not sure if that's like, I don't know. I know you can go on their website inside of what you call it, and it has it attached there. So I don't know if it's like part of the post office that's doing that or whatever the case is, or if somebody they contracted, or I don't know. But and then there's like one or two other podcasts that I've seen that's like post office oriented, not saying YouTube videos, actual like podcasts that's been around for a while. Yeah, but they only do shows like once a month or something like that. That's not, I don't think, is USPS affiliate. So again, this the ground floor, man. If you don't want to be collateral damage, get out the way, right? Supervisors, get out the way. Distinguish yourself from management, or it's up. On the craft side, listen, craft employees. Not everything, let me clarify, not everything is harassment. Management can manage you. It's within a certain degree, but they can manage you. If you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, or you're doing something incorrectly, they can address you without you feeling some type of way. If you're doing something wrong, they can correct you. Right? That's not harassment. That part is them doing their job. right? So to a degree, in a lot of cases, follow your instructions. Especially if you know you were doing something wrong. I think part of that is a lot of people don't know that they're doing anything wrong because they don't have that information. This goes to what I was saying earlier. Not everybody was trained the proper way to do things. So some people might not know how to properly do things. So then when it's addressed, even though you probably been getting away with it for weeks or months or whatever, by this point in time, you feel like somebody might be picking on you and they might not be. You know what I'm saying? They probably just trying to correct the behavior that they see you doing that is incorrect. Know the difference. This is where you ask questions at. And if the closest people to you, which should be like a union steward or the person that trained you, if you do have a rapport with your supervisor, because not all supervisors are bad. A lot of them you can get a lot of information from, or should be able to get a lot of information from. They're supposed to be almost like the in between on the higher management in the floor. But we're not seeing that a lot. But I won't put everybody in management as just bad people, and I won't put everybody on the craft as bad people. That's not the case, or bad employees on either side for the post office, right? But we do got some that go above and beyond on being just not informed or not good employees in whatever craft or non-craft, speaking of supervisor managers, that they're in, right? On whatever they respective job titles are. I say it like that, right? Yeah, but yes, they do have a right to manage. They do have a right to supervise. They do have a right to correct. They do have a right to address. If they pull up on you on the street, they could be a street ops. That's not them trying to walk you. So no, they don't need to give you a 24-hour notice to pull up on you and see how much mail and stuff you got, or to see or to watch you do a split or two. They're not walking you and counting your mail. So you don't need a 24-hour for that. That's a regular street observation. That's something that management should be doing. They should be doing more often, as far as like just going to the street and seeing what their carriers are doing. Walking around the station, seeing what their clerks are doing. If you downtown, walk on the floor, seeing what your clerks and or PSCs and not PSCs, your clerks. And it's various types of clerks. It's like 15 to 17 positions. Last time I looked, that could be different depending on where you at. But when I last looked at the craft breakdown for clerks, it was like 15 to 17. I can't remember which one of the numbers. I remember like, dang, it's many different types of clerks. But seeing what your clerks and material handlers are doing, and things of that nature. Truck drivers, they're under something kind of different. But I guess when they get you to your station, you know what I'm saying, you can make sure that they doing what they supposed to be doing, or just being safe on whatever it is that they supposed to be doing, or whatever the case is. Truck drivers, I think, fall under headquarters, or whatever the main station is. That's like your headquarters. They fall under them, so their situation a little bit different. But we all still got contracts, but not with the APWU. But yeah, not everything is harassment. Not everything is harassment. Management do have the right to do their jobs, which they are being paid to do. Management has to know, though, there's a fine line between doing your job and harassing someone. Your job is not above the law, sir and or ma'am. Just because, let's say I'm a carrier and I'm at my this brought up a little bit a few days ago, actually yesterday, when I was talking to a supervisor. If I'm at my case and I'm working, right, you can't keep coming to my case asking me what's taking so long. You can't keep doing that. Like, if we talking about once day to day or a couple times here and there, whatever the case, that's not harassment. But if let's say I'm in the office an hour and a half and you come over here 10, 15 times, bro, you harass me at this point in time. I feel uncomfortable with what you're doing. I am working. Then you supervisor might say, yeah, but what's taking so long? Sir, am I not working? I don't have to move at a certain pace that you want me to move at. If that's contractual, show me that. Because I can show you paperwork that says that there is no pace. There is no pace. Right? I work to what's comfortable and safe for me to do. What's comfortable and safe for me. I have a bundle of mail in my hand and I'm casing that. Whatever it takes me to case that is whatever it takes me to case that. You can see what I'm doing from wherever you at across in this station. You don't have to keep coming up to me in this case and berating me with your language. When you saying what's taking so long, clearly if I'm been over here working this entire time, then it's clearly the mail is what's taking me so long. That don't even make sense that you would ask me that. That's how I'm gonna come off. So I'm letting you know now. I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm feeling like you're harassing me in the manner of in which you're doing what you're doing. That's all it takes. Now, if you keep coming over here after that, this is where you can get hit with harassment, because I just told you I feel uncomfortable. Now, if you don't believe that, if you're on the management side, you might want to go look up the definition of harassment. You might want to go look up the definition of a hostile work environment. If you want to be in management, you need to know these things. You also might need to know the laws that goes for harassment and hostile work environment on the federal side, because the post office rules and regulations do not supersede federal law. Federal law says no federal entity or organization is allowed to have a hostile work environment. There's a zero tolerance policy. You might want to look up what zero tolerance policy means. In general, it means anybody caught creating or allowing a hostile work environment is termination. That's what zero tolerance means. There's no second chances. There's no talking about it. If it's proven, you're fired. That's federal law. And nothing that you do in the post office supersedes federal law. This is how you end up getting fired in EEOs, you know what I'm saying? Or moved. This is how that happens. Now, if you want to take the chances on that, you take the chances on that. I don't expect managers to fire their supervisors. I don't expect hire managers to fire their managers. Guess who can fire managers and supervisors though? Craft employees have the power to fire management. As long as it's done the appropriate way, and as long as it's right, you can do it. Easily done, right? But again, not everything is harassment. Not every single thing could be a discrimination. On the craft side, know what harassment is. Go look up the word in addition. Well, y'all got smartphones now, so look it up online. Harassment. Look up hostile work environment. Those the two. Or you and look up discrimination. Right. Look up discrimination. Those the three. Both sides should know that, so y'all are in the loop on what can happen to you. And management, what can happen to you, and from the craft side, what are your chances or choices are, right? But yeah, that's the word, right? That's the ground foundation to everything that we'll be talking about going forward. That's layered on top. This is what comes from this. So whenever you hear certain things said from the management side or the carrier side or the craft side, there's a lot of C's, man. Clerks, carriers, craft. From the craft side and from management side, there's a difference. And some people can walk that line and some can't. Some people can walk that line and some can't. You gotta be strong enough to walk that side. I personally went onto the management side to get knowledge and to think that I can make a difference. I'm currently a carrier myself. I am a carrier. I've been a 204B and I've been and is kind of sort of at times a 204B still. I've been a supervisor opener. I've been a closing supervisor. I've supervised a station opening and closing the whole station in one day. I've been I've been an acting supervisor. I've also been an acting manager, kind of, sort of. I don't think they would ever give me that title, but I've been in the station by myself for weeks at a time with no other supervisors, just me. Right. So I'm assuming I'm kind of like the acting manager if I'm the only person in management in this entire station for weeks at a time, opening and closing, and I'm doing the manager work along with the opening and supervisor work the entire time for weeks at a time by myself. And in those period of time, I have garnered a lot of knowledge, and I am thankful because I did get a lot of information when I was on that side on how to do things the right way from certain people in management. from certain supervisors and certain managers. Gave me information on how I do these things properly in the computer work, and how I get here, how I get there, how I maneuver this and move this around, this, that, and other. Shout out to Area too. Area um, is the people that's kind of over um, certain things in your facility and safety, right? And that was people I was able to talk to in an area, right? The safety part, about delayed mail and what is and what's not delayed mail, and how do you go about reporting that in the proper ways, which is actually probably like 2 or 3 different ways that supposed to always be done in tandem. I mean, like at the same, I ain't gonna say in tandem at the same time, but all 3 supposed to be done. You're supposed to report mail this way, and this way. All 3 were for every time, right? But that's the information I had to get, because again, at that point in time, I was in the position that I was never in, and ain't nobody around me to get it because there's nobody else here but me. So I'm boots on ground, learning. I think what helped me a lot with that was my military background, right? Me and Coffee both former military. Myself Army, and Coffee is Marine, former Marine, right? So I learned a lot, and I took that to the floor. And because anytime I'm on the desk, when I've treated, I should say, anytime I have been on the desk in whatever seat I've been in, I've treated my people a certain way. So even when I'm back down, they make sure to come to me. Hey, Leonard, how can I do this? If this is going on, what should I do? The proper way. They'll ask me, what should I do if this is going on? I say, well, if this is going on, I'm not guaranteeing that that's going on. I'm not in the situation. If this is going on, you make sure to do this. This is what you do. I've told supervisors when I've been on the other side, hey, if a carrier is doing this, or if a clerk is doing that, this is what you're supposed to do, right? From the craft side, I've said, hey, man, you should get written up. You should get pulled into the office. You should get whatever the case is. What I go by is the contract, for better or for worse. And there's things I do not like in the contract by any means, but there's things I do like in the contract, right? So you gotta take and you gotta give. One of the biggest discrepancies is management don't want to give. Management has some things that works in their benefit of the contract, and the things that don't work in their benefit, they try to mismanage. The term that's in the post office, mismanagement. I never heard of mismanagement before I came to the post office. I've only heard of mismanaging when I come to I said, what the heck is mismanaging? What is mismanaging? Mismanaging is when they don't go by the contract and they try to manage around it, even though, so they're breaking the contract, and they consistently break the contract to try to do things that they know they're not supposed to do by the contract, right? But they still expect you on the craft side to uphold the contract, meaning, right? Let's say, let me try to get an example, right? Let's say somebody brought back mail, right? Let's say I'm a non-val on the carrier side. I'm a non-val is a non-overtime volunteer, right? Meaning I did not sign up for overtime. I don't want it. Now, for you non-vals, the contract does state that they can force you. Well, it don't say they can force you 2 hours. I take that back. It says they can force you. They can't force you into penalty, meaning they can force you 2 hours or more. You know what I'm saying? Depending on whatever takes you up to your 10-hour mark, meaning they can attempt, quote unquote, management attempt to give you like a 30-minute pivot, or quote unquote whatever some of y'all would do, try to give an hour pivot and 2 hours of overtime. So you should be back at 5:30 if your start time is like 7:30. That should be a 10-hour day for you, right? So let's say that's the case. That's the example that I think about we're gonna take. Someone gave me an hour pivot and 2 hours of overtime, right? We down. I don't know if the overtime vows are max or whatever the case is, but the contract says I can't be forced into penalty, right? So I'm gonna send a message back at 12 if I can't make this hour pivot. Hey, can I make this hour pivot? Right? And I'm gonna keep going. And I don't know if they responded or not in the scenario. So I'm gonna do my 2 hours of overtime. I come back at 5:30 or before 5:30. I should be actually coming back around probably close to 10 minutes before, hopefully trying to get back about 10 minutes before, because you got to clean up and disperse and do your dispatch, which is your PM mail and your outgoing. And I'm gonna bring you back. Here go this hour that y'all gave me, right? They gonna try to say, let's say they try to say, oh man, you got to do that hour. Nah, I don't have to do that hour by the contract. Oh no, I'm giving you instruction. This is the mismanagement, right? Because you know that you can't force me, because the contract states I cannot be forced into penalty. And what you're trying to do is force me into penalty. This is where we gonna bump heads now, right? Management are gonna just try to use, well, I'm giving you an instruction. This is them mismanaging. So you know that you're trying to violate the contract. You just don't care enough to work within the contract. It's not my fault that y'all gave me 3 hours and expecting me to do 3 hours in 2 hours. That's not my fault. That's your fault. But you don't want to be responsible for it not being done. That's why I sent you a message at 12. At 12, you should have said, hey man, I'm sending somebody to come get that hour from you, PTF, CCA, whatever the case is, whatever you want to do with it. That's what you should have did. But you didn't have nobody for whatever reason, this, that, and other, so and so in this scenario. I bring this back to you. Now me, I'm not being forced into penalty if I don't want it. As a non-vow, you can choose to go over, right? That's your choice. Still a grievance, but that's your choice. Me, if someone talking to me and I'm feeling a certain way, I feel like you talking to me crazy, I'm not choosing to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not finna, again, this is where we're gonna walk a line at though. Because I'm not gonna tell management no. Do not tell management no. Right? You can ignore them if you want to. You ain't there's nothing that I ever seen in no type of paperwork outside of some type of job discussion where you're doing a day in court or whatever the case is that says that I have to conversate with management. You can ask me questions on the floor. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be within my right. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you ask me something that got to do with my route, I talk to you. Something that got to do with mail, okay, cool. When it get to this type of things, I'm not talking to you. And I ain't seen no paperwork that says I have to talk to you. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm not being forced into penalty. Oh, so you're gonna fail to follow my instructions. I'm not being forced into penalty. And I'm gonna do my putback mail when she's saying whatever they saying, doing my putback mail, this, that, another, so and so. I'm clocking out. I'm leaving the premises. I see y'all if y'all want to do a day in court. I see y'all in the day in court tomorrow. That's how I'm carrying it. And in the day in court, because you gotta notate everything that I'm saying, I'm gonna make sure to clarify everything that I'm saying very clearly, so it's reported. My rights was broken. My contract was broken. Linda, why do you fail to follow your instructions? Management tried to break the contract, and they tried to force me to do something that the contract say that they cannot force me to do. So I upheld the contract. I don't know what management did. But why you fail to follow your instructions? I cannot be forced into penalty. So to me, that's an invalid instruction, right? Not all instructions are valid instructions, management. I'll fight you on that. I ain't lost it yet. I'll fight you on that. Not all instructions are valid instructions. You can take it however you want to take it. Learn your craft, learn your position, learn your title. Y'all, a lot of supervisors don't know the AM, y'all don't know the contract. Y'all don't know what you're supposed to do and what you can't do. Because y'all never did none of the reading that says what you can do and what you can't do. Y'all just go with whatever the supervisor told you to do, or whatever the manager that told you to do, and you don't even know what you can or can't do. This is how y'all be in the situations that y'all be in. Go read the book, man. Ladies and gentlemen, ma'am and or sir. You know what I'm saying? Go, they have that knowledge out there when you in management. Go read the book on what you can and can't do. You might need to learn some type of federal laws too on what you can and can't do that pertains to working in the federal government. And you might need to go read some OSHA policies as well. And from my experience, a lot of people on the desk don't know those. Those three things, a lot of people on the desk don't know. I came from military background. I knew a lot of federal laws. So you had to know those to know what you can and can't do and how much trouble you'll be in if you did certain things in certain places. So I know a lot of the federal laws on what you can and can't do. Right. So, and again, USPS rules, regulations, policies, or whatever don't supersede no type of federal law. These are just policies. These are rules and regulations. They got nothing to do with federal law. A lot of y'all stuff don't even supersede OSHA rules and regulations. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all really drawing the short end of the stick. So on the craft side, get knowledgeable. Learn OSHA rules in the work environment. You don't have to learn everything. There's just certain things that you have to learn. That you should keep in a tuck. And this is what you use when you got to go fight in your days in court, whether you're on the management side or the craft side, right? I was trying to make this thing 30 minutes. It turned out to be goddamn 50 minutes, man. God dang. Anywho, so this is where we at, because I'm going to get up out of here. This is where we at. I might title this, I don't know what I'm titled this yet, but it's gonna be a title. But yeah, man. So right now we at war, man. We went through kind of like a recession period, a Great Depression period with COVID, and it was a tough time during COVID, and we lost a lot of people, we lost a lot of business, and we haven't come out on the brighter side of that since COVID. I get COVID about a 2-year span, a little longer, but just for time's sake, I get about a 2-year span, and we didn't win in that exchange, and post office don't know how to do good business. When it comes to actual business, we don't make new products, we don't make better products, we ain't got nothing to sell. It seems like I don't know what department that is, that they should, if it's not a department, it should be a department that y'all just create products to sell. Don't know what's going on with that. And in the midst of this budget, let's call it a budget crisis that the upper management is having, that's spreading down to the lower end. Only thing they've been able to come up with is trying to get craft employees to do more work for no pay or less pay. That's the only thing they've come up with. Crack down on craft employees, try to get them to do more, and they saying in the same period of time try to get them to do more. So out there, y'all do have a lot of craft employees that might be tired, that might be overworked, that might be stressed mentally, going through it emotionally with their job, if I even want to be here or not. And then you thinking about it, you debating, and then you had another day at work. So while you working, this is on your mind. So you do got carriers, clerks, front counter clerks, rear distribution clerks, and then downtown you got your different clerks, along with your material handlers, and headquarters you got your truck drivers that's going through it mentally, emotionally about the job while still at work trying to do the job. And everybody can relate to that. You know what I'm saying? When you just got a bad day at work and you got some household things going on, but you still at work and your mind just not there on those days because it's just not there, and ain't nothing that you can do to necessarily get it there outside of try to focus. But when things on your mind, weighing heavy on your heart, you know what I'm saying, you just be long days. You know what I'm saying? The post office is going through it right now, and so when you do see all carriers out there that's delivering mail, make sure you appreciate y'all carriers, man. There's a lot more people could be gone, and they just trying to get through from day to day, try to deliver this mail, deliver these packages, and try to get home, tend to their families, their girls, they guys, whatever y'all into, you know what I'm saying, your kids, take care of your moms, your dad, you know what I'm saying, your elderly parents, or whatever the case is, and try to get up the next morning and go back to work. Same thing with your front counter clerks. You go in, sometimes your clerks might be having a bad day. It might just be one of those days. It's nothing personal. Nobody should be disrespecting anyone on either side. But they might not be the most chipper. They might not be the most happy. They might not be the more, you know what I'm saying? They might not be wearing a smile that day. They might be going through it that day. Could be very, very well be work related. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to decide if this even for me still or not. And as we lose more people, it's hard to get more people in. So when you lose somebody, you could be missing that person in that spot for a long time, for well, it's a fair amount of time. And when you do get somebody, they might not be good, and that person might not last. So the people we have, we need to be trying to keep. That's also part of the post office rotating door issue that we got going on. But outside of that, man, yeah, anybody welcome to join the live. Let me say it like that. To join the live, we're gonna be recording Postal Blue on Sundays. I'm gonna try to get these uploaded, and we're gonna try to get these uploaded, and they're gonna be out for y'all every Monday morning. I think I'm gonna pick the 9 o'clock slot. By then, everybody probably should be like in a group, right? So 9 o'clock, maybe 10. 10 sounds better though. 10 sounds. I'm gonna do 9. we gonna do 9, right? So 9 o'clock on Mondays, 9 o'clock a.m. Mondays for y'all, and then maybe Wednesday we'll do a live spaces, right? And in a live spaces, anybody in the craft or anybody on management can come up and talk or whatever the case is. The regular host, me, Coffee, Fee. It's gonna have to be at nighttime, of course, because we all work in the morning. Either in maybe late afternoon or early evening. Try to get that out the way, so it ain't too late at night, hopefully. And then we just gonna do a live spaces with, you know what I'm saying, just chit chatting about just regular things, whatever the case is. If you work for the post office, if you're a customer or resident, you know what I'm saying, that's interested, make sure you join. And anybody that's willing to come up, they want to do a live interview at that point in time, or kind of like an interview or ask any type of questions, we will bring people up. That's on management side and the craft side. I was gonna do a lot of spaces last week, but I really want to do this show first, just to set the groundwork. From both sides, when these lives happen and these type of spaces happen, where these chances come up, let's be respectful to everybody, no matter what side they're on, right? So let's watch our language. Let's try to, as we are trying to do, right? Me and Coffee don't curse. He kind of like created his own words. Y'all will hear him if y'all ever listen to Ice Coffee or The Initiated. He kind of created like his own cuss words where he don't actually curse, but Fee say he curses. So I don't know. But me and Fee curse, especially Fee. Right. But for the purpose of these shows and this year, we try not to curse. I mean, they say cursing shows a sign of the lack of vocabulary. So we trying to work on that definitely. And we need this to spread to as many as possible. So we definitely don't need the limitations of having certain type of languages or certain type of words used hindering that, right? So we trying to watch the language. So in the spaces, you know what I'm saying, cursing is cursing, you know what I'm saying, but we're gonna try to watch the language, because again, we're trying to be respectful of all sides, right? So if you're a craft and you see a supervisor come up and talking and question, you know what I'm saying, be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody on there gonna get away with nothing. That ain't how we rock. You know what I'm saying? So again, you talking to people that's been on the management side and craft side of both. So I'm gonna definitely get some supervisors up there, some people, some managers up there. We definitely gonna get some craft employees up there throughout the week. See what they got going on throughout the week. See if they got some issues that we can help them with or assist them with. We're gonna have some union stewards from different crafts up there. All type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what's coming on the live shows. So that'll be on, I want to say Wednesdays right now, maybe Thursday. I'm gonna do Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And that'll give y'all something to listen to, you know what I'm saying, throughout in the middle of the week, and then we hit y'all back with Monday again for another one, right? So going forward, all the shows gonna be dropping on Monday. You still got Ice Coffee coming back for season 2, Unjustified Behavior, and you got Postal Blue, which is new. Everything gonna be dropping on Monday. You gonna catch if you want to quote unquote watch. Sometimes it used to be live recorded, but not as much. But if you want to watch it, it will be on YouTube. But outside of that, it will be hopefully on all streaming platforms. So whatever you listen to, you'll be able to find all 3 of the shows on there. But if you go on to YouTube, you'll be able to find all 3 just on the YouTube channel, Amazing Studios. Right, which I haven't put a lot into, but I'm starting to put a lot over there, so y'all just be able to go to one particular area and find all 3 of the podcasts. Really more than that, but find the main 3 of the podcasts over there in the midst of waiting for the website to finish, right? It's gonna be a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of valuables coming for employees, postal worker employees, and all type of stuff like that. All type of media things. You just make sure y'all stay tuned, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you follow, make sure you share. Sharing is caring, and we gonna be out here, man. I thank y'all for listening. Make sure y'all come get this knowledge, and hey, pick your side, man. Pick your side and stand on that side. It is what it is. To the end, we out, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. Later.